Hi, this is Thunder from Booredatwork.
This is Lumi.
And this is our coverage of the Nintendo Wii U. Now, first of all, I want to apologize again for not being in E3. I was supposed to be there. I got stuck in Houston and had to come back home. And I have a little video about that so you guys know exactly what the hell happened with me. Needless to say, I spent 2 days in the airport. Besides that, so anyway, let's talk about Nintendo Wii U. The Nintendo Wii U is Nintendo's next generation gaming console. What's different about the Wii U is that it it's a graphically intensive console. It does output at 1080p via HDMI out. It does have 4 USB 2.0 ports. Also uses an optical disc for input. Has flash memory for saves, as well as you can save on an SD card or through USB through a hard drive. And it does have a brand new controller. Now, the new controller of the Wii U has a 6.2 inch touchscreen. Of course, you do have your analog sticks, your D-pad, your trigger buttons, as well as your shoulder buttons, as well as your 4 regular buttons on the controller. And this brings a whole new gaming dynamic to it. So, put a question out there. So, what do you think, Louis?
I'm not sold on it. I mean, I don't get the concept. It's just another Wii system, basically. And the games, I consider myself a hardcore gamer.
Okay, all right.
I'm not gonna be playing Wii Sports or any of those Wii games. I like shooters. I like sports games.
All right. I mean, since you said that, and that's your concern. I mean, Nintendo didn't say much, but they've addressed some issues. They said there will be a lot of more hardcore games. The games they showed of that caliber, they showed Ninja Gaiden 3, which I know he hasn't been Ninja Gaiden 1 or 2, so much as his hardcore gaming ness anyway. Also showed Ghost Recon Online, as well as Ubisoft said there will be another hardcore shooter on the console. So that is there. I do understand your skepticism with the controller and how it works, and if that would work well. But then again, I would say think of it as the original Wii. We're all skeptical if it will work. Yes, there are gimmicky games, I agree, but also there are uses of the controller that actually work well. So it all points to the fact that I can see you're going okay.
No, because my thing is, even the initial Wii, the first Wii, the Wii, I can count the number of times I've actually played it.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Of course.
Okay.
I'm just saying that I'll say give them benefit of the doubt just because this time around. But then again, Nintendo said it a lot of times, but they showed a lot of hardcore games, at least with their lineup. They said, okay, we're gonna have a more third-party involvement. Yeah, we'll have our traditional Nintendo stuff there. So okay, let's move away from that. Let's talk about the controller itself.
Okay.
All right. What do you think about the controller, and how do you think that would work in your mind for gaming? You see, in your hardcore gaming, like what would you like to see?
I'm actually not sure. To me, it just seems like a tablet, just like another tablet that connects to a system, I guess.
Okay.
And I don't see how it's gonna work. It probably will work because it's Nintendo and they probably know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't wrapped my head around it yet. I haven't seen it working yet.
Yeah,
all I saw was that commercial, and that's all it was. A commercial
of different.
We don't know if it actually works. Over the next couple of months, it will start to unfold, and then maybe then. But right now, it's just.
Oh no! Like I said, I do agree with that skepticism. I mean, for me, when I first saw it, the first thing I thought of is I do a lot of co-op gaming at home, and a lot of that split screen nature could be taken away because the console does stream to the controller. So that's one aspect of it. One thing I think we mentioned, there's a racing game where you can basically, which is on the show floor, again, I'm not there, so I can't tell you, where as you're driving, you can look around 360 view and look at oncoming traffic and other things in the game. So if you put that same concept in, say, a game like, for instance, Aliens, Colonial Marines, which is coming out, where everything is dark and your main point of view is the TV, I can still scope around and look somewhere else with the controller, and apply that into a third, into a first-person shooter, or into, say, in a game like Assassin's Creed, where you're basically, creeping and crawling and trying to, be quiet and assassin. I mean, those kind of dynamics do work well, because now you're giving your gamer a larger viewpoint. The other thing I did like was with the demo video. They showed a demo of Wii Golf 2. I mean, I like Tiger Woods Golf. I mean, I love that game, and the fact that you now place the controller on the floor and it does correlate with your Wii remote. So I'm looking at accuracy would be much better. I started playing golf 2 years ago, so for me this is something I like. But again, for Lumi, it's like, well, we're not sure.
But will that be too hard for people? Because people like to play Tiger Woods and know they're playing a video game.
Well,
this would add too much realism.
But the best-selling Tiger Woods game was on the Wii, so it almost adds to that point that the Wiimote added a lot more to people's gameplay, and then also the PS Move also added to that. You have Tiger Woods, so I guess that whole idea that can I get my golf, more realism into gaming, because remember, we always say realism when we talk about photorealism, but also it's also gameplay realism comes to add a lot of dynamics to it that does add and help out. But I mean, like Lumi said, there's a lot to see over the coming months. Like today was pretty much a presentation day. It's like, okay, this is what we have. Here are a few things to whet your appetite, and if that would help. And hopefully down the line we'll see more. There's definitely Tokyo Game Show, which surprisingly today, which I think is positive for Nintendo, because they didn't mention anything other than themselves as a Japanese, any Japanese games. Everything there was all Western games or Nintendo. So I think this is a good point for them, because they've really, especially with the Wii, they went away from hardcore games and Western games. So the fact that, I believe only Ninja Gaiden was the only one. And then again, I just consider that a totally hardcore game, which he still hasn't finished 1 and 2. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Hold on. So we've talked about the controller. What about the actual system itself?
Okay, the system itself, they didn't say much. They didn't talk about specs. All they said it was going to do 1080p. It can stream to the console. What we know officially, IBM just released a press release saying it has a 45nm chip on there, and a 45nm chip on there, and it's the same processing power as the IBM Watson, which we all know was the computer in that defeated guys in Jeopardy. So it's supposed to be a very powerful system. Graphically, it's supposed to match, at least from what we've seen from the videos, it matches the current consoles, but Nintendo is being coy and not stating anything on specs. I believe because since the console's coming out next year, they haven't finalized the full specs for the system, so they're probably gauging where they are to see if they want to up things or drop things. But from IBM, they said it has lots of RAM and it's powerful. That's all IBM said. So, we don't know how powerful it is, but
no, we don't.
Yeah, but design-wise, it kind of looks like a Wii. It looks like a 360 at the same time. So it's like a bastard stepchild, I guess, of both. But I mean, on the console side, we don't know much about that. The thing I like about it is it does allow you to use your own hard drive to store. I have lots of hard drives lying around, so I know most people will probably complain that it probably has maybe about 16 gigabytes of flash memory for internal saves, but I have a spare hard drive, a 500 gigabyte hard drive I can plug in, and that's dedicated to my system, which is more than any other console. So I like that. Some people might not.
The thing I have to say I probably really like about this is the fact that it actually uses the current Wii's controller. You can actually still use that, which a lot of systems haven't done over the years.
Yeah.
And this, I think it's a good thing Nintendo's doing, where it's saying it's a Wii. You can, all of you guys that own Wii's, you can still use your controllers for this as well. Yeah. And the thing I actually also liked about the controller was they showed a video where on the controller was a video, and you actually sent it to the console so that people around could also watch what you were watching on your controller, which still looks like a tablet, but
Oh yeah, I mean, granted it is. I think there's a lot to play around with there, with it. The other things we just haven't seen is the fact that there's a camera on the controller and it does head tracking. So how would you use that in game in certain games and certain situations and things like that? So there's a lot of that aspect. And again, with so much tech built into the controller, you're looking at something where it's only probably till the third year in the cycle where you now see a lot of games will use everything, into the console, into that, the console of that game. So there's a lot to figure out and see there.
But we know it's coming out next year, and it's a long time ahead of us. What do you think? How much do you think it's going to cost? The controller as well as the system. What's the price
range? Nintendo didn't mention anything about that. I'm guessing the system will cost about $350. I'm thinking the system. Reggie did point out that the system will be somewhat in line with what Nintendo's had in the past, but I don't think it's going to be $250, which was the original Wii was. I'm thinking $300, $350, which they can justify. The controller, on the other hand, is where I have no clue where that. I spoke to a couple of people. Some people said $100. I believe you said it might be comparable to the PS Move.
Yes, like 150. If you want like a second one, I don't know if you will be how many you will be able to fit with each.
I personally think the controller will be between 70 and 80. The new controller. I think a bundle package with the controller and 2 Wiimotes will be 120, like the PS Move, to give you that package deal there where. Because Nintendo loves to do packages anyway.
Yes.
So I can see that happening, but I don't think that controller is 120. Remember, it's still a year away.
Yeah.
So, but again, pricing, we have no clue of pricing. We have no idea how much it's going to cost and all that. But we just want to say, share your thoughts. What do you guys think about it? Do you agree with Lumi? Are you a little more skeptical? Are you like me, who says, okay, hey, this might be something good? I'm still skeptical in there because there's still a lot into that whole framework. Which see, if
fanboy.
Yes, and I have an Xbox too. Yeah, it has a PS3, but hey, you got hacked. Anyway, so this is Thunder E from Booredatwork, reminding you to always subscribe to all our pages: YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And yeah, so this is
Lumi,
and this is Thunder E saying thank you and always enjoy entertainment.